So these are my year 2 predictions for this weekend. Starting off then with Newport versus Seventh Dons. Newport obviously suffered that defeat to Salford, now all defeat to Salford at home. And they probably should have got something from that game, from what I've seen, than Salford. And but they lost out now, yeah. And they're probably going to be playing a more tougher opposition than MT Dons, who are probably favourites to win the Year 2 title with their squad on paper and the signings they've made. But MT Dons did draw away to Quarry though, so still possible. Of course it's possible Newport didn't get a result against MT Dons. Because if Quarry didn't get a result against MT Dons, then for me, I think Newport can definitely get a result. I do think MT Dons will win the game just with the quality on the pitch. I don't know if MT Dons just edge Newport out 2-1, in my opinion. Up next, Walsall versus Salford. Two teams are probably even level, aren't they? Walsall and Salford. I do expect, obviously start season, I do expect Salford to have a better season than Walsall. I think Walsall have missed their chance now to get promoted, in my personal opinion. And Salford, I think Salford have made a decent start. They've made a decent start to the season, and I don't think they'll use the stem, but I think they will draw 1-1 away at Walsall. Up next, Accrington versus Queensbury. Queensbury travelling to one of the rare decent favourites, Accrington. Queensbury, they've made a good start to the season under David Artell, which is probably expected. We did expect Queensbury to kick on. After that season, they were ahead of schedule, weren't they? But now, with the signings Queensbury have made, you would expect them to be at least in the playoffs. And I think they get a win here over Accrington. I think they're just the better team. And I'd offer a 3-1 win for Queensbury at Accrington. But I will say though, Queensbury do kind of struggle away from home, kind of different away from home than at home. But I think they'll get the win here over Accrington. Struthering, Bristol Rovers, they play host at Cambridge. Quite a surprise. I think that's the surprise of the season so far in League 2. Bristol Rovers struggling, especially with the mans they've got in Dalcart as well. Has Dalcart now became stale as a manager? Who knows? Or maybe just the expectations just a bit identical to Bristol Rovers. Cambridge have had a hot and cold start, haven't they, to the season. They picked up a win there, but then they end up losing or drawing the next game. I'm the door for Cambridge. I am the door for Cambridge to beat struggling Bristol Rovers and probably pile more pressure on Dalcart. I'm the door for a 1-0 win for Cambridge over Bristol Rovers. Up next, Cheltenham versus Barnet. I'm done for a 2-0 win for Barnet. Barnet, obviously, they're now off to win. They're off the mark now in League 2. While Cheltenham just keep on struggling. So you don't fancy Barnet to win that game 2-0 over Cheltenham. Colchester versus Barrow. I've done for Colchester to win. I'm done for Colchester to win here against Barrow. Barrow just yacked. They just yacked a lot, didn't they, against Halliday? And I'm done for Colchester to win 2-0 against Barrow, and Colchester, who are very strong at home as well. Up next, Quarry versus Tranmere. I've done for Tranmere win. I've done for Tranmere to get the win over Quarry 1-0. I just think they're at an equal level, Quarry and Tranmere, but I think I still rate Tranmere's squad more than Quarry's. So I'm going for a 1-0 win for Tranmere, but it will be a tight game. Up next, Fleetwood. They take on Oldham. Fleetwood, who suffered that heavy defeat in midweek. They take on Oldham. I think Fleetwood should get back to winning ways. I think Fleetwood should bounce back from that heavy defeat. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Fleetwood against Oldham. Up next, Gillingham versus Chesterfield. Gillingham versus Crewe. two teams who've had a good start to the season. I think that is a standout game this weekend. German vs Crew. I think they'll cancel each other out, and I think they'll draw this game. I think both teams will score, but I think it'll be a tight game, and they'll go for a 1-1 draw in that game. Howdale versus Chesterfield. Chesterfield, on paper, should be beating Howdale, but we all know how tough it is to go away to Howdale, especially under Simon Weaver, when they still got Simon Weaver in charge as well, who is one of the most underrated courses in the EFL, in my opinion, for the job he has done at Howdale, making them a stable EFL club. Because, yes, be real, not to be disrespectful to Howdale, but they are, yes, be real, for the size of the club, they are non-league level. But Simon Weaver's done a fantastic job to make them a stable club every season. And this is why I will never go for Howdale to go down. They still don't Simon Weaver there. And I think Chesterfield will find it tough at Howdale, and the door for a 1-1 draw between Howdale and Chesterfield. Up next, Notts County versus Bromley. Notts County got an easy win, didn't they, against Shrewsbury? It was the perfect game for Notts County, wasn't it? Shrewsbury really struggling, and to be fair, they're in trouble. I think they're in trouble, Shrewsbury. And who knew? Obviously, I didn't put them in the relegation battle, Shrewsbury, but who knew I said I didn't rate Michael Atkinson the biggest problem at Shrewsbury? Why the hell does he keep getting jobs? I'll never know. But for me, Notts County, I think Notts County got a tougher game here against Bromley. Bromley have actually had a surprising start, considering it's their second season in the EFL. We thought there might have been that drop off, but still really continued, haven't they, from that season, Bromley. And I fancy Bromley here. I don't rate Notts County's mindset at all. I'm going to go for Bromley to get a 2-0 win at Notts County, in my opinion. And finally, Swindon vs Shrewsbury, pretty nailed on. I've gone for Swindon to get a 3-0 win over a very bad, a struggling Shrewsbury team. Because I do think on paper Shrewsbury do have a better squad than the showing. But Michael Atkinson, really a fraud, absolute fraud of a mindset. And having Swindon, in always, Swindon will get a 3-0 win here over Shrewsbury. So they're my YouTube predictions for this weekend. And I'll see you all for my League 1 predictions for this weekend.